What's going on, sassy lady? Welcome to day 41 of the Strategic Leadership Mastery Series. Today is going to be all about ways, y'all, that we can distress our businesses for more happiness and profits. I am Danette Moss, business systems and implementation strategist, aka the strategy lady. Always excited to show up and provide you with the tips, tools, or strategies that will allow you to take your business from the sense of overwhelm to putting that business on rinse and repeat. Let's go ahead and let's dive into today's topic. Again, if you're joining me here on Insta, aka Instagram, IG, or if you're joining me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, I want to welcome you to this day. It's a special day because we are one step closer to reaching the 61-day goal or uh, recordings that I'm showing up for, whether it's live or whether it's pre recorded for you. Always excited to help you to be more strategic in your business. Stand and be the leader that we know you are because you're a female CEO, and also master the skill sets that we know you desire to master as you go through this journey of being a successful female CEO. So, again, our topic of discussion today is all about 7 ways to de stress your business for more happiness and profits. Now, I know it goes without saying, we are usually generally inundated with so much as a female CEO, just, CEOs in general, but of course I'm speaking to you, that female, that sassy female CEO. We have more apps and technology appearing to make life much more easier. But ironically, y'all, never have people been so much more stressed. It seems to go more double if you work for yourself. You just got a lot more going on, right? Today, I want to kind of go into 7 proven ways that I believe you can distress your business and your life. If you are just now joining me here or listening to the replay, I'd appreciate if you would go ahead and put hashtag replay here so I can know the best times, the best ways that you're showing up, and one, be able to come back and support you. I am the one that will go and answer any questions that you have. Feel free to definitely leave any questions or give your insights on this topic of discussion today. All right. Now let's get ready to go from strategy to implementation and let's kind of walk these things through. I've got some practical strategies that I believe will help you as you deal with that stress, right? And as you begin to work on this thing to alleviate it. All right. Step number 1 of the 7 powerful strategies that I believe you can put into practice today to help you de stress as you build this profitable business. The first one is think about this particular question that I believe you could should ask yourself, and that is, how do you plan on making every day your best day ever? Ask yourself that question, right? Because for me, in my opinion, I know and realize that stress shortens your life. Stress makes my chest tight. Stress frustrates me. Stress overwhelms me. It compromises my immune system. It raises the blood pressure. It causes insomnia. It puts you at a risk of a heart attack and stroke. So, this is why I asked you that question. Again, our topic is 7 ways to de stress your business for more happiness and profits. But I believe step 1 of you asking yourself how to make every day your best day ever, you need to think through those things. How do you think you can do that? Right? Now, I've got some questions that I believe you should answer inside of this one question, and that is ways that you can figure out the perfect day begins with you asking some of these questions. And I believe you should answer them and get some food for thought on them. Okay, the first question is, what would a perfect work day look like for you, female CEO? What would it look like? Second question would be, what would you do? Right? We asked, what would that perfect day look like? And what is it that you would be doing? Who would you spend your time with? I mean, these are questions you should ask. Where would you be working? Is it in your home office? Is it at a workspace? Is it, I mean, where? These are questions you should be asking yourself because remember, we're setting up ways to de stress ourselves, distress our business, and make it more happy and, of course, profitable, right? What three things could you start doing today that might bring you closer to living more ideal days? Another question to ask yourself is what three things could you stop doing today that might bring you closer to living the more ideal days? These are questions you need to ask yourself. Definitely questions that I ask myself. Okay. What is the one thing you need to have a fulfilling morning? I start my days out in the morning. I know some people, their schedule's off base, but what is that one thing that you need to have that's going to fulfill the start of your day? Whether you decide to start in the morning, afternoon, or evening, I pray you start it in the morning so you can have some consistency. Now, the next question is what is the one thing you need to have a restful evening? This is why I said I believe we should start things out in the daytime because at some point we got to go to sleep. What is it that we need to do to have a restful evening? And then last but not least, I believe I provided you with 8 or 9. I think we're on number 9 is how do you want to show up in the world? And what is one daily action that supports that goal? You need to know this. Now, these are, in my opinion, simple questions, but if you take action on them and really give them serious thought, they could change your life, particularly questions 5 and 6. Okay. It was what three things could you start doing today that might bring you closer to living that more ideal day or days. Okay. And then number 6 was what three things could you stop doing today that might bring you closer to living that more ideal days. So ponder over those questions. Prayerfully, you write them down and answer those questions. Okay. But I don't want you to stop there. Next, I want you to consider sketching out your ideal week. Okay. Ask yourself these 9 questions. Which is your favorite day of the week and why? Trust me, these questions matter. Which is your least favorite day of the week and why? What do you hate doing on Mondays that could be moved to a different day of the week? That's a big one to ask, in my opinion. What kind of energy do you have on Friday and how can it best be utilized? Because, Friday is generally the last day of the week for most people, a work day of the week for some people. Okay. How many days of the week do you currently work? And how many days of the week do you actually want to work? What activity during your week do you wish you could get rid of? And what is the one activity every week that you really enjoy that you wish you could do more of? Because there's just some things that you really, truly love to do. And what 3 things could you start doing more of during your week? And then last but not least, what 3 things could you stop doing during the week? These are questions you got. What things could you be doing and what things do you possibly wish you were not doing? Just go back and listen to the 9 questions that I mentioned about the day and then also the ideal things that you need to be thinking about throughout the week. Because when doing these exercises, you will be able to kind of see some things that you need to see that may be a bit distorted, right? Things that you may not have thought about that will help ease the level of stress that you're probably causing yourself, right? That unnecessary stress that you need to alleviate. Now, step two, let's look at some things that I believe you can do that will help you de-stress your business, of course, and have a more happier days and weeks and to be more profitable is consider these top 5 best ways to stay focused and avoid what I consider client drama, right? I know we got a lot of stuff being thrown inside of it, but these are just things that I believe you need, as we go through ways that you can distress your business, right? I believe that making changes for the better depends not just on becoming solution oriented, but on cultivating clarity and focus. And this is why I kind of dig a little deep in this series, Strategic Leadership Mastery, right? I think it boils down to getting to truly know yourself, honestly. Not just knowing yourself, but your business, you and your personal life and your business inside out, honestly, right? Now, let's kind of concentrate on some things, and I want to kind of break some things down that I believe that you should be doing to help you stay focused. And one thing is to track your time. Okay, look at it like this: whether it's you or if you got people that are working for you, you track their time, right? Even if you track billable hours, non-billable hours, I track my time. I like to track it to see what I'm spending the bulk of my time on. Am I spending my time working on those non-income generating things? Am I spending my time on procrastinating and not focusing on the things that really need to be done because these said things are kind of hard or difficult, right? Track your time, pay attention to it, and see what's working best for you. See what are time wasters so you can shake them things off, right? It's going to be extremely important for you to know what it is you're doing with your time, right? Now, doing this, I truly believe will give you a clear picture of how long it's taking you to take care of said task, things that you need to do. All right. Most of us assume that we work much faster than we actually do. Okay. Which means we're constantly generally running behind in areas, and knowing your true working time or working rate or hours that you're putting in is going to be very helpful in planning your workflow. Not workflow in the sense of systems and processes, but how you work and how your day flows, how you go about through the day. Okay. Now, I also believe in these tips that I'm outlining for you as it pertains to the best ways for you to stay focused is that you need to set and stick to office hours. Tell your clients up front the time that you're starting and the time that you're ending, right? And that you don't work past a certain time on, certain days on the weekends. Your weekends are your time, right? Don't let them set you up where you feel like you got to show up every single day. At some point, you got to rest. If you don't rest, you're not going to be able to show up, right? So you may even, not may, you need to even put some parameters around when you may be responding to your emails, when you're going to respond to your calls, right? These are boundaries in a nutshell. This is going to help you really, really flow well and not irritate yourself, frustrate yourself, or get yourself sick, right? For me, step 3 inside of this area is I like to review things not at the very end of the week. I may review things kind of daily, kind of a sprinkle, but instead of waiting to Friday, I like to look at things on Thursdays. For me, Sabbath starts Friday. And if I can put my hands around things, my Sunday through Thursday or my Monday through Thursday, I can review things that will help me not be scrambling throughout the day, throughout the week. So if I'm reviewing things by Thursday, I'm already beginning to set the stage for what my next said days that I'm working on is going to be. Right now, my whole goal is to show up, whether it's via video, whether it is live, for a consistent total of 61 days. And we're on day 41, right? And so I'm working every day, technically. There's been a couple of days that I've had to pre-record, but I'm still going and checking or getting with my VA to make sure everything was well, right? So for me, I believe in reviewing things so that I can know where I am and I'm not scrambling, right? And I'm making sure that I'm meeting my daily goals, blocking off the time, whether it's the afternoon, whether it's the morning. I need to stay away from the evenings because I need to have that time with my husband as well as with my children. I believe that for me, waiting for Friday to review things, for me, it makes it feel like Friday is too late, right? Because I don't have time to reschedule things if I need to reschedule it, right? I don't have recovery time if certain things are supposed to be delivered by a certain time frame. So Thursdays are generally the time that I like to review a lot of different things so I can flow well and make some stuff happen and give me space to recover because life sometimes is lifing, right? Now, I like to say that for step 4 inside of this particular section is I believe that aiming for me to be early helps me be able to achieve a lot more things. Today, I had a chance to um, get involved and go over to an event that was hosted by a women's community. Yesterday, we talked about the importance of, oh, pardon me, joining communities and groups that really, really work best for you. I had a chance to get involved and get out and network and do an actual live digital vision board type event. It's funny, I just got finished, kind of working it with you all. And I arrived early. And what I loved about arriving early was when I went to the location that I thought it was going to be, I had actually put in the right address, but on my ways, I clicked the one that looked closest to it. Reading is fundamental. And I ended up being in a totally different place. But thank God, because I had gone in or had gone there to be on time, meaning being early, it allowed me to have that time to be able to get there in a timely fashion, which did what? It alleviated the unnecessary stress for me. So let's even talk about time in the sense of projects, deliverables that you have stated to your clientele that you would have to them, right? So let's say your deadline is the 15th. Maybe you should consider turning in a draft, maybe like on the 11th or the 12th, giving yourself a way to be able to address certain problems. Time can be you showing up on time to certain events. Time can be you delivering those deliverables to the said clients. So give yourself a window, right? Me showing up early to the location, even though it was the wrong address, still position me to have time to get there so that I can be on time and not miss out on things. I mean, this is a vision board event, and they started on time and we started through networking and all of that. The same thing applies again as we think about delivering things to our clients. If that deadline is the 15th, turn that draft in or give them said information 3 to 4 days, sometimes 3 to 5 days early if you can. That way you can iron y'all out the problems that may occur, that may your client may have before time lapse on what you said you were going to have things delivered to them by. Because your words should be your bond, right? And of course, you may need extra days, right? But because you turn things in early enough, now you got yourself that window that you need because business is still business, right? Emergencies do come up. But when people start giving you money, y'all, they don't want to hear that, right? So put these things in place so that you can alleviate that unnecessary stress that you really, truly don't need to have, right? And of course, it goes without saying, number 5, inside of the top 5 best ways for you to stay focused and avoid client drama in a nutshell and give yourself that ease that you need to go through the day-to-day affairs as a successful, sometimes busy female CEO is minimize the distractions, right? Stay focused, right? Stay focused in the environment that you're in, whether you are renting a space, whether in your home office, you know, put certain things on, turn this thing off, or put do not disturb on, don't have a lot of things popping up in your face, social media, all these different things. Stay focused. Block off the necessary times that you need to block off so that you can meet that end goal in mind, right? If it means that you need to use certain tools so that you can stay focused, use those, right? Keep yourself off social media. Do what you need to do to eliminate anything that interferes with your focus. You got to do it. All right. Now, that was step one and step two. And inside of step two, we had 5 ways there, right? I provided you all with questions in step one that I want you to go back and revisit. Now, let's look at step three. And I believe that some there's a method to the madness when it comes to developing good work habits, right? So I'm going to provide you with what I believe some secrets to developing good work habits, to creating those good work habits that will allow you to build a smarter schedule that works for you, right? Scheduling your time, your client time, your workouts, your self-care, everything. Scheduling done properly, in my opinion, doesn't put constraints on you. I believe that it doesn't limit you in a nutshell. I believe it actually helps you manage your time better, right? I believe that when you have good work habits, that it creates more free time, first and foremost. I think it cuts down on strain, stress, confusion, and how you feel at the end of the day. If you're like overly exhausted, you need to revisit what your work habits look like, right? I believe developing good work habits also allows you to have more clarity and more focus, right? It helps you be more productive. I believe it helps you break bad habits, honestly. And it promotes goal setting success to me. I mean, let me tell you, since I've started incorporating these things in my life, I begin to do a lot more things with ease, right? It allows me to have more structure, a better framework for my life. And when my framework and my life is good, I can flow better in business. So remember these things. Remember that having good work habits will allow you to move with ease. It'll allow you to stick with the schedule that I know you've mapped out, because right, we should have some form of schedule, right? And it allows you to better prioritize things. Okay. I believe that in a nutshell, it allows you to feel and be more productive, right? But at the same time, stress less. In a nutshell, be able to operate stress free. All right. Let's talk about our next step, which is step number 4. And that's addressing the biggest myths about saying no to your clients. Y'all better learn how to say no. That's all I'm going to say. Right? That's not all I'm going to say, but just seriously, yeah. Learn how to say no. How do you think your clients are going to respond if you deny them what they want? Especially if the thing that you're denying is something they are used to receiving. Ask yourself that question. How do you think they're going to respond? Because at some point, you're going to have to say no. And these are just things that you need to be ready for, right? Now, while it's true that your clients are never happy when you deny them some things or put those boundaries in place, right? It's a myth that they will always get angry. They won't. To me, it's part of training them as to how you do business, the expectations that you expect from them, and it allows you to operate in the expectations that they expect from you. But don't always go to the end of thinking they're going to be angry when you use that word no, right? It's truly a true myth that clients will get fed up and stop working with you if you turn them down. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes you just have to. Use that and just understand that it's clearly a myth. You don't want to seem like you're always so available or too available, because when you do that, they don't put no respect on that, right? If you're always available 24/7, all day long. I mean, I had a client that I was so glad that she left me, right? I've had several of them because I like to show up and be the woman of my word. But because I was showing up and being a woman of my word and I was not putting boundaries on certain things, it caused her to think that she can just call me sun up and sun down because I was answering her like she could. And I walked myself away from the level of boundaries that I had originally put in place because I made her feel like I was available for her 24/7. You've got to put some no in that game. One, because you're going to end up hating the thing that you're doing or possibly hating that client when really you're the problem because you allowed that to go into play. So understand that one of the biggest myths as a business owner is when you say no to your client that they're going to automatically be angry. Adapt that thing and stand on it. Respect yourself enough. Put some respect on it, right? So I want you to practice saying no, right? And I want to say practice saying no to urgent requests. And that can be kind of hard, right? But you need to make sure that you set those parameters. You need to make sure that if you say that your calls start from you call back people from 10 to 2, stay within that parameter. Train yourself and train your clients. That way you won't be frustrated and they won't be frustrated, and you can respect yourself and not drive yourself crazy. In a nutshell, what I'm speaking on is showing you and teaching you that valuing your time is really, really important, right? And sometimes we have to value it to the degree that it's not just always about the money. Because sometimes if we're chasing that money too much, we are not valuing the fact that we need to get rest. We're not valuing the time that we need to be spending appropriately with our family, with your loved ones. And that can cause a big problem. All right. Now, let's move on to step number 5. And this is what I believe a big one that we need to do. Y'all, we need to not stay so glued to our laptops, our desktops, our iPads, our cell phones all day long. No, you do not need to be glued to it 12 hours in a day, right? You need to figure out ways that you will add in those necessary breaks, self-care time, walks, exercise, times that you need to spend with your children, etc. Please don't stay glued to your desk 12 hours a day, nonstop. I was guilty of that. It caused a lot of problems, not just with my health, but with my marriage, with my children. I needed to know how to pull back away from this desk. I really did. It was the hardest thing when I pulled away from it, not to automatically go to this and start using it. It is rough. Now, I've learned how to kind of put it down business wise, but sometimes I can find myself and have to catch myself going and picking it up and jumping on Instagram or jumping on Facebook, all of that stuff. Listen, stop staying glued to this technology. It can cause you issues, big time issues, right? For me, I found that it caused me issues with my creativity, right? I wasn't able to be able to flow well because I was really just staying stuck there and my judge was just gone, right? I couldn't flow well, right? I had to begin to force myself to get up away from the desk, right? This allowed me to have a better or a more fresh perspective of the things I was doing. I'm struggling. I just can't think. I got writer's block. No, I'm staying stuck too long in one spot. Get up and walk around. Get up and move away from your desk and have a meal. lunch, or breakfast, not necessarily doing it right here, right? Force yourself to break away, right? It's going to help you not have yourself in trouble mentally and physically. You got to get up, you got to move around. Sometimes I get up and I'll exercise, I do different things to help my level of stress. But I've had to push away from my technology sometimes to give myself some woosah, right? So I'm encouraging you to do that, right? It's going to help with that stress level. Too much desktop time and laptop time causes you to lose the physical time you need to put into your life, right? Physical conditioning, the walking that you need to do, right? We as women, sometimes we deal with our veins, our legs, our swelling. We mess around, we sit here all day and we have poor digestion because we're just sitting here eating nonstop, right? Starting our digestive system over and over again, eating chips and all of that. There's usually 3 square meals, right? But if you're eating and then all of a sudden you're chewing and snacking all day, your system is just stopping and starting and stopping and starting. And that generally happens because you're sitting still in one spot. Get up and shake that thing up, right? Put some physical condition in it. Do a morning walk or a lunchtime walk. Break away from the technology, right? This is going to help you stay in touch with your life and with your family's life and not lose touch, right? Now, let's move on to step number 6. And for me, outsourcing plays a role in me de-stressing my business and having a more happier life while I earn that money, that profits, while I increase my profits. I believe that outsourcing saves you in a big way. I believe it helps you stay sane, right? It helps you work only on the things that you best work at. And it allows you to give those things that are not in your wheelhouse to somebody else. The things that you're giving to them, it's in their wheelhouse, so they're not stressed. But if you hold on to things that doesn't suit you, you're gonna have a lot of problems, right? I believe that when you work on things that are not in your wheelhouse, it eats up valuable time. And it doesn't directly affect your income generating monies in a positive way. It affects it in a negative way, right? It really does. So adopt outsourcing into your day-to-day business model, right? Identify ahead, if you can, of the things that take up most of your time, right? Activities that really don't value you, that's not in your wheelhouse. Outsource those things, right? If you're a little concerned about what to do, don't bite off too much at one time, one bite at a time. I always usually go back to the one thing that I know most of us may want to consider giving to someone else unless we specialize in that. And that's that social media stuff, right? The social media can take up a lot of valuable time, take you away from the things that you need to be working on a day-to-day consistent basis. And, I believe that that should be something that you should be considering outsourcing, right? Determine the dollar figure on how much you're losing when you're working on things that you shouldn't be working on, right? When you put a dollar figure on that, it makes it much easier for you to give it to someone else. Okay? Consider freelancers. Consider outsourcing it to contractors, VAs, right? But get back your time by using or utilizing outsourcing. All right? Now, that was step number 6 or strategy number 6. Let's move on to the final strategy. And I believe that the single best way to de-stress yourself is to, again, I think I kind of touched on it, is to limit your social media times, right? The communications, how you do different things, right? Not just during your work day, but even in your on the weekends, the time that you have allocated for your family, right? watch the time that you spend on social media, because if you're spending time on social media all day, there's no way you're growing your business, right? Remember, turn off those notifications, those things that distract you and that clutter up the time that you, or take away the time that you need to be spending, whether it's in your business, in your family, or your relaxation time. Y'all got to watch it. Remove certain apps from your phone that pull your attention away from the things that really truly matter. Okay. Consider cutoff times for when you're answering your email. Like, are you, for me, I believe answering things after 6 p.m. sets you up for them to think that you're available all day long, right? So I used to go to 7 p.m., but I came back. Nope. 9 to 5 is usually the work hours, right? So if I'm doing 9 to 5, or, you know, uh, 10 to 6, I like to keep that window, right? That way I'm not creating an issue for myself, and I'm not setting myself up for the kill as it pertains to my client, right? And the biggest thing that I struggle with, and I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I still struggle with it, especially with, I'm learning to get better with it when my husband is here. If he's not at our house, in New York, is as best you can, and let's just be real with it all the time. Look, don't bring your work to the bed. And if you can alleviate work from the weekends or work on your vacation, try to adopt that, right? Don't bring your work to the bed. I used to drive my husband crazy. Like, hey, you got your boyfriend with you, my laptop or my iPad. Now, if you got launches going on, be real. Let them know, hey, baby, I'm in the middle of a launch and I am going to have to do these different things. So I'm looking at different things, but it shouldn't be all the time. That causes problems for your health. It causes problems with your family life, and it can definitely cause problems with your spouse or your significant other, right? So take those things out of the equation. Here's a positive piece though. If you create autoresponders telling people certain things, they'll know what to expect. So create your autoresponders telling people that you're offline. This is also going to, and when you're available online, because this is going to reinforce what? The boundaries. They're going to know what to expect. And sometimes their emergency can't be your emergency at all times. Also, make sure that this information is written into your client contracts, specifying the days that you're available, the hours that you're available, the conditions, and make sure that you stick to those boundaries. And I like to say now, because I said make sure you're in the contracts, make sure that you stick to the written boundaries. Okay. Last but not least, as we think about these 7 ways, now we had ways inside of ways, we had steps and different things that I share with you under all 7 strategies. As we begin to de-stress our business and have a more happier and profitable lifestyle, is you got to take action. See, I've listed a lot of different things, but if you don't step, implement, and take action on these things, it's going to be null and void, right? Realize it's not just your business that's at stake when it comes to this, but perhaps it's your health and it's your life itself. Take action on the things that I share with you. Honor yourself, your health, and your well being, and put all of these suggestions that I provided you into practice today. You're going to find that it's going to be extremely helpful for you, and it's going to alleviate the stress level. It's going to de-stress your business for more happiness and more profits. Now goes without saying, as always, I'm always going to leave you with some things that you can do to help you as you go on this journey as a successful female CEO. And I just want to advise you. I want to encourage you, pardon me, to go back and listen to each step or each strategy that I share with you, and give yourself the checkup from the neck up. Answer those questions. I provided you at the top. I spoke with you about 9 things that you could do, or how to make every day your best day ever. I provided you with 9 questions, right, of things that you needed to be mindful of right off the rip. For the week as well as the day. Answer those questions. They're going to help you. They really are. After you answer those questions, go back and revisit the top 5 best ways for you to stay focused and avoid the client drama. I believe those tips were extremely helpful, like tracking your time and making sure that you stick with your office hours. And for me, I suggest reviewing things on Thursday instead of waiting to the end of the week because surprises pop up. Now you're missing those certain deadlines. Go back. Think about starting out early in the daytime with the things that you do on a consistent day-to-day basis. Think about when we deal with deadlines, making sure if the deadline is the 15th, then maybe you should be dropping or giving them things by the 12th. So if they have issues with these things, you got time to recover and your word can be your bond. Go back and listen to what I share with you. Walk these things out, right? Definitely go back and check out the secret to developing good work habits, creating more free time for yourself because it's going to promote what? Clarity and focus. It's going to cut down on exhaustion. Go back and listen to those things, right? So that you can move freely and de-stress your business so that you can have a happiness. Hey, we went in business so that we can be happy and not strapped and stressed. But most of us are more stressed than we were when we were the 9 to 5. So go back and listen to these different tips or strategies that I provided with you and share your insights. You can share them right in the comments section if you like, or feel free to join us over, of course, in the Get Your Sass On community. And if you're not part of that membership, go over to GYSO community.letstalkstrategies.com. I'd be honored to have you over there. And goes without saying, I'd be honored to have you join me for day 42 of the Strategic Leadership Mastery Series. I believe it's extremely helpful for you as we end 2023 and as we bring 2024 in with a bang. I'm all about helping you simplify, automate, systematize, and streamline your business for sustainable growth. Thank you once again for joining me here for day 41. Our topic of discussion was 7 ways to distress your business for more happiness and profits. We got strategies, tips, and all kind of different things all blended in there. Go back and listen to it. Share with another female CEO. My name is Danette Moss, Business Systems and Implementation Strategist, aka the Strategy Lady, over at Let's Talk Strategies, where I work with female CEO consultants, 6 to 7 figure consultants, and service providers, and of course, coaches as well, to go from overwhelming their business to putting it on, rinse and repeat. I'm all about helping you go from strategy to implementation. Thanks so much for joining me, and I am looking forward to seeing you on tomorrow, day 42. Y'all take care now.